Is this thing on? Oh, yeah, it is. Hey, welcome to my Halo 3 equipment guide. Today we'll be going through every single piece of Halo 3 equipment. In total, this video took me 5 hours to make, so hopefully it's coherent, and I hope I can help you understand these weapons a little bit better and what their purpose is. That's enough of an introduction. Let's begin with the grenades. Frag grenades work exactly the way you think they do. They go the furthest, they bounce once or twice on the floor, and then they boom boom. Plasma grenades don't go as far, don't bounce, and stick to friends or foes, or ragdolls. New in Halo 3 are spike grenades and firebombs. Spike grenades stick to any surface, person, or ragdoll, and explode, doing less damage with the explosion, but shooting really high damage needles everywhere. Firebombs are completely unique from the other grenades, exploding immediately on contact and doing a small area of damage effect with the fire. They can be thrown directly at an opponent, or used to deny an area to prevent people from progressing towards you, as they do linger for a bit. Okay, now into the actual meat and potatoes, equipment. After being deployed, a trip mine is detonated by either a friendly or a foe, or a vehicle entering a trip mine's detonation radius, a player deciding to shoot the trip mine, or a high velocity impact from a great height. Side note, mostly for fusion coil placement, since the outer radius of the explosion usually won't kill you, even if it does do a lot of damage. This thing has a massive explosion radius, it's really deceiving, so be careful when you see one, or try to detonate it yourself. Unlike the other equipment types, gravity lifts can be put on the field in forge mode permanently as an object. There's not really any difference between it and the deployable version, other than the deployable version will automatically destruct after a while, while the permanent version will never destruct. The actual activation area of the gravity lift is about twice as large as the model and effect depict, so when shimmying around it or trying to deploy equipment near it, you might end up accidentally throwing it sky high, even when you think you're able to throw it directly on the ground.
Baba Booey.
Just a reminder, gravity lifts can truly pick up anything in the game world, including props, weapons, players, and other gravity lifts. So you can counter other enemy weapons and vehicles and equipment with the gravity lift, which I'll demonstrate later. Even if passive for just a moment, a gravity lift can possibly triple the distance an object will travel through. Here's the demonstration, starting with a gravity lift and then without, throwing grenades. Pretty far, huh? Let's see how high actually these things send you. To figure out the height, I took a screenshot of my Spartan right before I deployed the grav lift and one at the apex of the height. Then I quickly cropped out the Spartan on the floor and stacked him on top of himself to reveal that you're throwing approximately 5 times your normal height off the floor of the grav lift. Both temporary and permanent grav lifts can be destroyed by enough bullet fire. I noticed the bullet seemed more effective than plasma in my testing. Here's an example of me using the grav lift in a real match to get an extra kill and to stop a car from running me over. With hilarious results! Deployable cover is a plasma type shield that covers a small curvature around you. That honestly doesn't really matter though, because both plasma, UNSC, Forerunner, and brute weapons can just break the thing, because the main chassis, which is right in front of the shield, can be shot and exploded, which renders it completely broken. Yeah, the plasma shield will regenerate if it is broken down, but that doesn't really matter when the main chassis is right out there for the entire world to see at all times to shoot. Oh, and you can just run over it. Oh, and grenades can also break it too. Avoid this thing. Unlike the deployable cover, the bubble shield is spherical, a little bit larger, and completely invulnerable. Nothing harmful to players passes through this thing. Players and vehicles can't freely move in and outside of the bubble shield though, so if you use the thing out in the open, you're prone to possibly getting ran over. Likewise, if you use it around a corner, someone could just walk around that corner and punch you in the face after walking inside of it. The bubble effect itself also clips through walls, so people underneath you or above you can see where you're putting that shield. It's a great way of showing how Halo is more than just shooting guns. Also, you can't run over the generator to make it blow up. You have to get out and physically break it with a melee attack or shots from a gun. This equipment also shows the difference between spike grenades and plasma grenades. Whereas with plasma grenades, even if you're inside the shield of the explosion, you can still survive. Spike grenades will pretty much instantly kill you since the spikes have nowhere to go except inside the sphere. All three of these things work in a very similar way, affecting players around them, so I lumped them all into one category. Power Drain rapidly does damage to everything around it before finishing off with an explosion. The actual explosion is what kills people, not the Power Drain. If you're approaching it but not exactly in the damaging range due to cover being in the way or other means, your vision will start turning blue, warning you what's about to come if you keep approaching it. Lastly, the thing has an EMP effect, stunning nearby vehicles if they're in range of the explosion, even through walls. The radar jammer does exactly what you expect it to. It puts fake enemies on the radar for a little bit. Including this is the regenerator, which does the same thing as the power drain, except it restores health, but not quite as fast as the power drain takes away health. And if something can penetrate those shields and instantly kill you, it still can instantly kill you, like a sniper headshot or an RPG or an assassination. There's also three very special equipments. Cloak and Invincibility are used by the Covenant, specifically the Brutes in the campaign for Halo 3. Cloaking and Overshield power serving as the way to get those in multiplayer in Halo 3. And then there's Flare. Don't use Flare. And that is how all equipment in Halo 3 works. I hope this guide helps you get those click moments and eureka moments where you figure out what to use in what situation and get the upper hand on your opponent when they may have been beating you before, or maybe you're in a disadvantaged situation and now you're in an advantageous situation because you use the right piece of equipment. I woke up at like 4 AM and now it's 11:02 AM as I finish this video. I'm gonna go play some Halo 3 hardcore battle, and I'll see y'all later.